Hey, welcome to the Classroom Vlogs. Hey, welcome to the Classroom Vlogs. This is a set of vlogs I'm doing throughout this week because the classroom is live, my wedding photography and filmmaking course.
Do you have a mic on?
I don't. I don't know if you can hear that.
You can just say that.
Maybe I should get a mic.
Just put it on. Just have it record.
Still record. Keep all this in. How's this? Does this sound better? Like this right here? How's that? Not as loud? Nice and crisp? Crispy audio?
Maybe.
Let's talk about the mistakes I made in my career so far.
In life.
All right, I have 5 of these. The first one I made was not learning technical things sooner. I think I went 5 or 6 years with just kind of like going on aperture priority with photography and shooting 30 frames per second, not caring if I peaked my audio. I actually wrote a list of things. Blowing out highlights, both in photo and video, so just the brightest part of the image completely white. Horizons, putting horizons through people's heads. You're not doing that right now, are you, Braxton? Good. I used to, on both photo and video, only shoot wide open at the lowest apertures on prime lenses instead of, stopping down to like f2.8. Sometimes shooting wide open is really beautiful when things are in focus, but sometimes it's really hard to nail that focus, especially with the cameras that I was shooting on when I first started. And then also coloring my footage in post, I had no idea how to do that. It was really embarrassing. I exported a video once as JPEGs and then brought all those JPEGs into Lightroom and edited the series of photos with presets and then imported it back to Premiere.
What?
You didn't hear this story?
No. Wait, what?
I had no idea how, I just didn't know. Like, I didn't learn from anybody and I didn't pursue learning that stuff. So that's just kind of what I did. Peaking audio, things just being blown out and hearing like if it's like this, it sounds awful. One time I won a photo contest online. They asked me for a web size image, like 2,000 pixels wide. So I sent it and I was like, oh, okay, so that's the standard size for a picture. So then I started delivering weddings at that size, which was a huge mistake, and I really regret it. Thank you, brothers. So don't do that. Export all of them at full res. So those are all of some of the blatant mistakes I made, and that's number 1. Let's get to number 2 after I eat this. ASMR. Number 2 is actually caring too much about what clients were doing that were out of my control, like putting filters on the photos that I already edited or asking for raw photos or wanting to change the music on a film edit I already did, giving me a shot list during the wedding day that I wasn't wanting to follow. I think a lot of people in the early stages get really upset about these things, but what I didn't realize was I just needed to set clear expectations and have clear communication with my clients to make sure that either those things weren't happening or that I developed so much trust with them that those things weren't happening either. And even if they did, not really caring about it because no one is really looking at that image and thinking like, oh, that looks awful. I'm not gonna hire that person because of the filter they put on it or whatever. They care far more about the experience of you being there and how they felt and what they received from you. And that's what they're gonna communicate to people that they know. People aren't gonna look at that image and be like, I'm not hiring that person because that image isn't up to my quality standard.
Number 3, not using a CRM. Printing out contracts and not giving options for clients to pay with credit card or bank transfer. I would send PDFs via email, require clients to either print or use an interactive PDF to fill out their contract, and either scan it and send it digitally or put it in the mail with their check. Because why not pay via check if you're also sending another piece of mail to me?
This is stupid.
All right, the truth is though, number 3 was not using a CRM, a client relationship manager. I constantly, every time I tried to book a client, I would send a PDF contract over email. I did that all the way through 2019, which is honestly really embarrassing. Thankfully, people in 2018 and 2019 started having more interactive PDF software or plugins through Chrome to be able to fill it out digitally and then send me an electronic payment through like Zelle, PayPal, or any of the digital ways. People would still print out contracts and send them to me in the mail, like with a check. And I just didn't give them any option to fill out a contract digitally or pay me digitally through any kind of interface outside of something like Zelle or PayPal. So it's super embarrassing. It was typical me, like dragging my feet, not wanting to try something new. That's just how I've always been in my default, and that's something I'm constantly working on. But since I've used HoneyBook, the CRM I use, I can't imagine not using it with the ability to sign contracts digitally and accept payments digitally. It's just completely different and so much better for the client experience. Do you want to close this one out, Steven?
Perfect. This episode is sponsored by HoneyBook.
Editing really vibey and not true to life. I bought into the hype of getting presets that desaturated greens and made them look not realistic and making weird skin tones. And yeah, ultimately, like, that might have been cool during a season, but then it wasn't cool long term and made people feel, sorry, being influencers in the wild, my bad. Those images then leaned way more towards vibey and not timeless, and so people looking at them in the future might be like, why does your skin look like that, and why does a tree look dead? As opposed to just trying to make the colors look true to life and the experience to be similar to how they felt in that moment. Same applied for video.
Where did Eric go?
The last one, number 5, was caring too much about my own brand and trying to be like Mr. Cool photographer and not really caring about my clients' wants and needs and desires. And it was really just that 2015, 2016 era where I just wanted to be like travel, vibey, elopement photographer, getting flown to cool places in different countries and islands and like having amazing experiences. And that was really all I was caring about and wanting to build my brand to become, and, you know, growing an Instagram following and like having influence and all this stuff. And I was neglecting the fact that I needed to show up for my clients. And that really made me, it incentivized me to only go for cool portraits and not care so much about images or video clips of loved ones and people who might be passing away soon, or the significance of relationships with my clients and their family members or their friends. And I was just broken of that when I heard from legends in the field like Ben Chaish and Jonas Peterson at a workshop that I went to, and my philosophy totally changed. And so from then on, I like got to see a new perspective of every single wedding I shot, no matter where it was. Like, sure, I still got plenty of cool opportunities on that shallow sense, but I cared far more about the actual meat and potatoes of the day and the bones, the infrastructure of what those relationships were like and what images actually mattered and what audio actually mattered. So, yeah. Hey, I know this feels like really salesy, but I have to make content this week because we've been working for like 3 months finishing up the classroom, and I do a deep dive on all of these things, photo and video. It's an entire course for wedding photographers and wedding filmmakers, and I legitimately believe that it could be something that radically changes the trajectory of your business and your work as a creative. It is only available through, enrollment is only available through November 1st at midnight, Monday, November 1st. So if you're watching this during the week when this video posts, make sure to go check it out at education.ericfloberg.com. And if you're outside of that week and watching this right now, just click the link we have right at the top of the description to be notified for any other educational stuff I do. Thanks for watching, and please don't make the same mistakes I did. Bye. Wow, that's really close.